Welcome to the Young Money Podcast with Marais. This episode of the Young Money Podcast is brought to you by More Time Financial, a financial planning, money management and financial education business helping young Australians to make smarter decisions with their money.
In today's episode, I want to share with you 5 almost effortless ways to make a little bit of extra money. So I don't think I would be alone in saying that having a little bit of extra money each week wouldn't go astray. And for most people, this is the biggest cause of stress in their lives, is they just need a little bit extra money. Some people don't need a lot. They don't want to become millionaires. They just need a little bit of extra money each week to help pay for those bills or just to do those things that they've always wanted to do. So whenever I talk to anyone about earning extra money, they automatically start thinking about getting a second job, which, if you're like most people, you just don't have time for. And it usually goes back and forth saying, oh, it's too hard. I don't have time to get another job, and I just wouldn't be able to fit it in. There's no way I could do anything that would earn me a bit extra money. So these 5 ways that I'm going to share with you to make some extra money, if done right, will not take up too much of your time, and it definitely doesn't require you to get a second job. So tip number 1 is mainly for renters. So consider getting a roommate. So if you're currently renting and you've got a spare room in your house, consider renting it out, which on the surface level, yeah, it might suck, and having a roommate might not be ideal, but it's definitely the simplest way to earn some extra money. It doesn't require you to do anything different to what you're doing at the moment. Maybe you have to give up some of your privacy, but this is something that me and my partner have done a number of times. And why we started doing it was that we were looking at ways to save some extra money to go on a holiday. And we had a spare room in our house, so we decided that we'd rent it out. And what we did was just continue to pay the same amount of money each week into or towards our rent that we were paying when we were just living by ourselves. And we just used the extra money from our new roommate and put that into a holiday savings account. So while it's, as I said, it's not ideal having a roommate and you have to give up some of your privacy, it's really a small price to pay when you're able to use that money, or that extra money each week, to put towards a holiday, whether that's domestic or overseas. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, or the second way to earn a bit of extra money, is mainly for homeowners. So the first tip was towards renters, but this one is going to be mainly for homeowners. You could probably get away with it if you're a renter, depending on which state you live in and what the laws are there at the moment. But to remain on the legal side of this contentious issue, this tip is strictly for homeowners. And what this is renting out your room or your house on Airbnb. So if you have a spare room in your house, then consider using Airbnb to earn yourself a bit of extra money each week or each month. So the best thing about using a service like Airbnb, which obviously they do charge a fee for their service, but you're able to turn it on and off for whenever you want. So the alternate to that is obviously having a permanent renter or a permanent roommate, which you might not enjoy doing if it's your own house. But with Airbnb, you can literally switch it on and switch it off whenever you want, and there's no restrictions to leaving it off or leaving it unavailable for as long as you want. And if you want to go one step further, and I'm stealing this tip from a friend of mine that started doing this, him and his partner started doing this. They own their own house and they're looking at ways to save money to buy their second property and also to fund their wedding. So what they decided to do was they would go camping on a Friday and Saturday night and put their entire house on Airbnb for the weekend, which again, they just alternate and don't necessarily do this every weekend, but they found camping was costing them about $50 for the weekend, so $25 a night, and they were able to earn up to some weekends between $300 to $500 a weekend, which is pretty amazing for 2 nights. And what they realized was even better or one of the extra benefits which they didn't think about was that doing this actually got them outdoors. So while most weekends they would just spend inside or working on the house or doing whatever, they found doing this forced them to go camping and forced them to get outdoors and actually start enjoying their weekends, as well as making quite a considerable amount of money each weekend. Now, this third tip or third way to make some extra money may be something you've heard before, but I find not too many people actually go ahead and do it. So my tip for you is to sell your shit on Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace. So most people have a lot of stuff lying around their house, and some of that stuff can be worth a lot of money. So this might be furniture, white goods, old phones, iPads, TVs, whatever it is. There's probably people out there that are willing to pay some money for the things that you have that you might not use anymore. So there's two benefits of this. Firstly, obviously you got the chance to make yourself some money, and secondly, you can probably declutter your house or get rid of some stuff around the house. So what you can do here is simply take out your iPhone, take out whatever phone you've got, take a few nice photos, put it up on Facebook Marketplace or put it up on Gumtree, and you'll be surprised at what people are willing to pay for the stuff that you have around your house. So if you're a lover of fashion and you've got some nice clothes or shoes that you don't necessarily use or wear anymore, mainly pointing finger at female listeners, you might want to consider using a site like Depop, which is a specialty clothes and fashion site or app for people who have secondhand clothing that they want to get rid of. So you may be surprised, and you may actually have a couple of $100 just laying around your house in stuff that you no longer use. So I definitely recommend using this strategy. So tip number 4 involves using your car. And while I considered putting Uber on this list to make some extra money, driving for Uber does require a fair bit of effort and a fair bit of time. So it didn't make the cut. But what I'm talking about here is using a website like Car Next Door to let people rent out your car for when you're not using it. So some people use public transport to get to work each day, and their car literally sits there from Monday to Friday in their driveway or in the garage, completely unused. So why not put your car to work for you and rent it out to people who are actually going to use it? So what Car Next Door does, and there's plenty of different sites out there that do this, but Car Next Door is just a good example, is they rent out your car to people who need it, and obviously just provide an alternative to your standard rental car company. So you could literally be earning $50 to $100 a day to rent out your car, depending on what condition it's in and what type of car you have. And what you could do to go one step further is if you're going away for an extended period of time, so this might be going on a holiday or going interstate or whatever you're doing, it's a perfect opportunity to rent out your car and might help to fund your holiday. So my final tip for anyone that is looking to make a little bit of extra money during the week or on the weekends is mainly for people who love pets. So you could consider becoming a pet sitter and get paid to look after someone's pets while they're away on holidays. So there's people out there who cannot live without their pets, and if they could, they would take them everywhere. But people do go on holidays and do go overseas, which obviously taking your pet is not an option. So they employ people, pet sitters, to come to their house and look after their pets for them while they're away. So there's websites like Mad Paws, which I'll provide the link to in the show notes, which offer a number of different options for people who are looking to either make some money on the weekend or for people that need the services of a pet sitter. So what this website does and what this kind of service does, is obviously a number of them out there. You can either go and pick the pet up and look after it at your house, which may or may not work for you, or you can go and stay at the person's house and you look after the house and you look after the pet for the weekend while they're away. So this might be a good way to obviously earn some money, but also tie in a weekend getaway. So there are some amazing houses available on this website, and there's even ones that have people looking for a pet sitter overseas. So you might, if you really wanted to do it, you could tie this in with just a weekend local getaway, or you could tie it in with an overseas holiday and get paid to look after the pets, but also in exchange for free accommodation. So it could really be a win-win. So there you have it. Those are my 5 near effortless ways to earn some extra money. Give it a go and you may be pleasantly surprised at just how easy it is and how much potential money you can earn from not doing that much at all. If you do try one of these strategies, be sure to let me know how you've gone and I can share the success online in another episode.
If you've enjoyed this episode of the Young Money Podcast, make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest episodes. And feel free to leave a like, comment, and share it with a friend.